Alright, what's going on, guys? Fellows back again, coming into the showcase on a Max Transcended T20 Macy. Now, I wasn't able to get a hold of a 1 out of 5 one until like after I was telling my friends like, oh yeah, now I'm gonna do a Max Transcended showcase. So I'll be able to get a 1 out of 5 that'll be coming out later today, as well as my Bruno showcase. So we'll check that out in a bit. But either way, let's just quickly talk about Macy, because I think that Macy's actually an incredible character. I see a lot of people arguing about her being better than Bruno, and her being better than Balgo, and Balgo being better than both of them, and Bruno being better than both of them, but he doesn't have farming, blah blah blah. Honestly, I don't care. I really don't. I think Bruno's an excellent OP character. I think Macy's an excellent OP character, and I think that Balgo is an excellent OP character. I think Bruno's a little better than Balgo, but the thing is with Balgo, when it comes down to it, you do end up spending the majority of this game farming, and if you don't farm at some point, you're gonna have to farm to catch up, right? So like either way, I think that there's merit in all three of these characters, and in my opinion, when it comes to these quote-unquote collab things, I think that this banner is an overall W, even though I hate that Caleb didn't do individual banners. That being said, let's just get quickly right into it. Now, she has a no affiliation and Squad 0 killer while being no affiliation herself. Don't particularly care for the killers. I think that no affiliation is a lot more useful than it used to be, which is good. I'm glad that Caleb kind of made way for that, but Quincy, Squad 0, and Sternritter are still very underwhelming just because it only really has to do with bosses, and Quincy's are still relatively new, and Human Killer, in my opinion, is still dog water. We do have the level 3 SP. She has a strong attack recharge link. Now, going into her skills, she has Havoc 20% as an innate skill, which is good. Like, having Havoc is always great. And Sharpshooter. Now, I didn't really talk about Sharpshooter Marauder on these characters much, but now that I'm like thinking about it, Sharpshooter and Marauder on all three of these characters is so good, because now that we have extreme co-op no longer being restricted to 3rd seed or 7th seed, it's only restricted to 7th seed, and there's no 7th or 3rd garbage going on. These characters are going to perform so well there that you actually could potentially be using these characters more often than not. And that's one thing that I really hated about BBS. It's like, you'll summon a character and then you'll end up spending the majority of your time with the farming characters that you honestly probably don't even care for, because the farming characters are so limited to specific characters and in specific game modes. And I personally don't like that. So seeing that these characters are finally going to have a use in extreme co-op if you're in 7th seat and above is so cool to me. Next, we do have speed attribute strong attack recharge for the entire party. Also excellent for extreme co-op. Now, I'm talking about extreme co-op a lot, but for the most part, anytime you bring this character, having that speed attribute strong attack recharge, in my opinion, is going to be really good. You have Bruiser 20% built into the character. I feel like they should phase this out for something nice. She has a Berserker of 40% while having Frenzy +2, and she also has she also has status element spiritual pressure boost 80%. Her real folly comes from the fact that she does not have increased status element chance built into her kit, but she does have quite a bit of range collision on her first to help her proc that, so we'll see how that goes. Damage to paralyzed enemies and damage to weakened enemies 40% each. If the enemy is paralyzed and weakened, this gets added to 80%. It does not get multiplied 40%, then an extra 40%. The reason that that's important is back in the day, I thought that when Yamamoto originally got shown, that it was an extra 40% damage when it ended up being 80% just off rip, right? It's times 1.8. If it was times 1.4, then times 1.4, it's kind of like a 96% damage increase. And while that would be so much more OP, that's just not how the game calculates the damage, right? Debilitator plus 5 seconds for weakening and paralysis. That's excellent. Pretty standard, but at the same time, having those status elements together, in my opinion, is incredibly strong. We have full stamina damage boost of 66%. And then I believe, oh right, and she has built-in weakened defense while getting an extra weakened defense. So we're gonna get double weakened defense on this girl, double gamer girl. So shout out to Bavaria for letting me do this showcase. I'm actually really excited. Boom, boom. Change to a character that can fit these conditions. I will. Oh, I still need to do this IT, bruh. Okay, hold up. I'm gonna bring a character. He'll probably die. All right, he'll probably die halfway through. We're at 59 tickets. I might as well do a ×5 run. I wish that they tuned up Ultra IT and gave more potions. I know that they buffed IZ so that it was more in line with epic raids. Okay. 18% magnification for a strong attack. Already got our spiritual pressure boost. Full screen 3rd. Homing Vortex, probably one of my favorite homing vortexes in the game. Frenzy +2 homing vortex is always nice. Did my character really? Oh, that's funny. My character changed spaces for me. I didn't even know that they could do that. Did they change the AI? Oh wait, no, it's because... never mind, that's a lie. It's because my character is not disconnected. But overall, she's doing very, very well. 18% mag. She's keeping her... No! She's keeping her status ailment boost because of the Frenzy +2. Personally, I feel like if a character has this status ailment spiritual pressure boost 80%, they should have increased status ailment chance or Frenzy +2. I know that together that these two are pretty broken, but it's not like this is new stuff, right? Like, no, we got hit. I'm gonna die because I want the full stamina damage boost. I was really hoping to die, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be a little edgelord real quick. Oh, hold up. Damn, I just walked into all those men, bro. It's like a Riley Reid concert. Spiritual pressure boost. Nice. Very, very easily destroyed the entire field. That's really good. Now, if we actually take her into IZ, we can get a better grasp of the type of damage we deal with her Soul Bomb, but not just the Soul Bomb, but I want to see what she deals with her strong attacks if the enemy gets hit with a status ailment, right? With her being a Frenzy +2 character, her getting her status ailments off is relatively high, which I think is actually really, 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 really good. Her also having the spiritual pressure boost with damage to paralyze and weaken enemies. She doesn't have devastation, but she does get access to weaken defense as well, is kind of nuts. So like, let's do this. See if I can proxy. You know what? We'll do it in IZ. We'll do it in IZ. Do this, just push back a little bit, give me enough space to do this without getting hit. I've always loved the Parasol units, how they do their little cute spin. But it doesn't change the fact that this is probably the stupidest thing you can do if you're in a fight. Hold up. You know how much vomit I'd be spewing after the first, like, 3 flash steps if I had to, like, spin every single time I wanted to dodge, man? Like, am I the only one that thought of this? Did Caleb not put 2 and 2 together? It's like, yo, you know what? This is probably dumb. And it's not just the women. Like, I get that. Oh, it's like, oh, but the women look so cute when they do it. The men spin too! Alright, let's go into IZ. I want to see what kind of damage we're going to be dealing. Like, it's a lot easier and less chaotic than IT, and you also don't get the minus 80% damage if they're not inflicted with the status ailment when it comes down to IZ, so. Who do we have in IZ? I don't think that we have access to... Okay, we have access. We have Killer, so we actually don't even have to calculate that. That's awesome. I'll do a times 10 run just because it was counting down a bit. Like he was at 59 out of 60 tickets, so. She is fun though. Like, dude. She's 5th anniversary Byakuya with Frenzy +2. Slightly lower Berserker, but that's fine because she has status ailments, and then on top of that, she has status ailment spiritual pressure. Really though? And people are like, it's like, oh yeah, God, she's amazing, guys. Come on, don't play. There's our spiritual pressure boost. Since she's like pretty much one-shotting, it's gonna be kind of hard to like really get that off. 77,000 with the spiritual pressure boost. We're dealing 332k damage. Did I get that right? 332k? Am I tripping? 20k, that's without 45,000. 45,000, that's without the spiritual pressure? That's nuts. Alright. Oh, did I bring an ally? No, I did not. Good. Oh, thank God. I got worried. $618,000 on the enemy on the left, and then 224,000 on the Ichigo. $2.75. I don't know why, but that don't seem right, bro. Don't seem right. Either way, we got the 224,000 on the Ichigo. So, click, click, click. Let's reset. 224,000 on the Ichigo alone. She does not have bombardment. She doesn't have killer, so let's calculate in killer. 358,000. That comes in line with the no affiliation enemy that we bombed in the second or third room. Then we can calculate in the damage to paralyzed enemies after, because this is with status ailment spiritual pressure boost. Keep that in mind. It is possible to not hit the enemy while having spiritual pressure boost, but we're gonna, for the sake of argument, have it the entire time, just because calculating spiritual pressure boost can tend to be quite kind of annoying. For some characters, it's like 50, 60. No, actually, for most characters, it's like 57 to like 62%. But some characters get upwards to like 70% spiritual pressure. 70% extra damage from the spiritual pressure boost. But let's just calculate in damage to paralyzed and weakened enemies. We're going to calculate in the double weakened defense. We're going to calculate in... No, that's pretty much it left to calculate. We're going to multiply it by 3 because that's the amount of hits that you would hit after the initial hit. And that we will add in 358,400, which was the initial hit with killer. If we had killer on the full hollow Ichigo, which we don't, but she would on no affiliation units. And that is 3.45 million damage on the full hollow on any enemy that is a no affiliation unit. Now, if the enemy was a squad 0 character, that 1.6 damage multiplier would get changed to 2.2. So let's calculate that in as well, because let's be real here, well, maybe not, let's be realistic here, but hypothetically speaking, if the enemy was a hypothetically speaking, if the enemy was a squad 0 member, she would get, maybe not 80 million, all right, it's a little excessive. It would be multiplied by 2.2. Now this would get multiplied by 1.8 times 1.6 for the weakened defense times 3 for the amount of hits, and then the initial hit would be 492,800. So against a squad 0 member, she's dealing 4.75 million, which is 37.5% more damage than she would have dealt to a no affiliation unit. Alright, so that's going to be that. Let's run her one more time, because I do want to play around with her damage with her spiritual pressure boost. Alright. There's a spiritual pressure boost. So third strong attack, 79,000, right? Okay, so I'm gonna pause it so I don't lose my little boost so early. So she did 79,000. Multiply this by a total of 12 hits. 948k with her spiritual pressure boost. That's really good. Oh, she's broken. What the hell? Like, but that's what I'm saying, right? Like these Bruno, Balgo. Maybe Balgo's not as broken as these two, but he's a farmer, right? So you're gonna use him often, anyways. And plus, he's more human than these two. So, actually, no, isn't Macy like just like Balgo? Like they're just regular people. I don't know. Maybe I'm just tripping. 948,000. That's assuming that you don't even hit. Let's assume that we get the status ailment off after the first hit, right? Times 1.8. And then we have 11 hits on that, plus the initial, which is 79,000. If she procs her paralysis and weaken, because it procs at the same time, and they both can be on top at the same time, she's dealing 1.6 million damage to the enemies in IZ. Pretty damn good. We did 46,000 if the enemy does, if she doesn't have her status summon spiritual pressure. 44,000 is still good damage, by the way. Like 44,000 on a character. Delete. 44,000 on a character that has 12 hits is still 500k on an S3. In IZ, that's still really, really good damage, by the way. I like. Okay. Back clap that butt. Look at that, 369,000 damage. And we were talking about that with the full Hollow Ichigo. I deleted it, right? 224,000 times 1.6 equals. Yeah, right? See, like, so we get very close to what we were just talking about with that one enemy over there. And yeah, that's pretty much the Max Transcended Macy in a nutshell. That she's excellent. She's actually really freaking cracked. I'm interested in the 1 out of 5 version. I think that the 1 out of 5 version should be obviously not as good, but you're still dealing really good damage. Like, dealing upwards of 4 million damage on IZ is still stupidly phenomenal for a character that doesn't have bombardment. Wild.